Yeah, welcome to my channel. Gonna go a little bit off what I normally talk about. I mean, it's back to basically Vanderpump Rules, the VPR, more so the Scandoval situation, scandal situation. As far as this latest episode that I've seen from Vanderpump Rules, it was very interesting how this all played out. Things started to go awry, not awry, but Ali kind of saw Sandoval and Raquel at Abby's at 1 a.m. dancing. So did James, apparently, telling Lala about it. And Lala's like thinking, like, wait, hold on. Um, that seems a little odd, but you know what it is. And then there's the whole thing with Katie telling Allie about the whole situation. Oh, they might have an open relationship, whatever it may be, whatever. But the whole thing that comes down to is this past episode, the barbecue, and then after the beach incident, or the beach basically, the beach outing, Sandoval, Schwartz, and Raquel go back to Sandoval and Ariana's house, and the fact that he kept using the word dipped, she dipped out, dipped out, dipped out. This guy's smart. He just basically tried to rephrase it differently, saying when she said dipped out, saying she went to the couch or the guest bedroom, whatever it may be. When in reality, the whole terminology of dipped out means sayonara, leaving. I'm outie. And this is happening while Ariana, of course, Maddox is away at her grandmother's funeral, and it's really funny when first at the glamping trip. It was funny how Schwartz basically says, "Hey, be careful," to both Brock and Sandoval, that like Ariana's got a type of married men, warning both Sheena and Ariana that. Did he know something? It seems like he did, because here's what it is. Sandoval basically said after the barbecue, not sorry, after that, after the beach outing, those three went back to his house, hot tub and all that stuff. And I think Ariana, as well as Sheena for that matter, it's like, yeah, it's okay, because they were thinking of every one of them, like Sandoval, Schwartz, Ariana, Sheena, as well as Brock, being like elder siblings to her. That, she's like Raquel's a little sister to her, so like she won't do anything crazy or stupid. Uh, and it's interesting how it came about, first off, how it was found out. That basically she came in late. She tells Lisa the reason why, that, oh, I stayed over at Sandoval's place. Lisa's now going, like having things running through her mind. I'm like, okay, hold on. She's staying at Sandoval's place, a single girl. Ariana's not there. She knows Tom Sandoval's history. She's like, wait a minute. So the fact is like, Lisa had to have known. Lisa knew, or at least for sure, had to have known or knew, whatever it may be, because when she said that, she knew they had a one night fling, at least for sure. But she kept quiet about it. Well, she didn't keep quiet entirely. She did tell Ken. If it wasn't for Ken opening his mouth in front of Katie, I don't think a lot of people would have found out about it then. So once Katie finds out, she tells pretty much Sheena, James, not Sheena, James, and Lala. Now Lala's putting two and two together now, realizing, you know what, she might not be an innocent girl. She's remembering how Sandoval was with Kristen to Ariana, and how while dating Kristen, he was talking more and more about Ariana, and looks like he's doing the exact same thing again with Raquel while dating Ariana, or being the boyfriend to Ariana. So Lala, I think, is already at this point kind of putting two and two together at this point. That, Sandoval has a thing for Raquel. Katie pretty much doesn't like Raquel anyways. She knows she's a whore, like whatever it is. She respects Ariana's decision to mentor Raquel, being a big sister and all that stuff. But to her, she's still a whore, and this is a woman that's gonna probably go after every man on there. Now remember, this is a series where everyone has slept with everyone else within this group practically. So it wouldn't be a surprise that Raquel was going after Sandoval. And now Schwartz has said basically like he never knew until like like a month before, and was telling him to tell everyone, whatever it may be. Looking back at this episode, based on the fact that Sandoval knew, I mean not Sandoval, Schwartz knew, going back to the house after the beach outing, that pretty much he was aware at this point. He probably knew at this point. He already knew at this point. And I think Ariana was naive and was too trusting on Sandoval. It's like, no, he's not going to cheat on me, because the fact is, like, again, Sandoval was caught in a lie about the day of Ariana's grandmother's death. Sandoval did not want to leave the barbecue party, saying that the person that he was with dipped out, and basically he had no ride. When in reality, the person was there, right in front of Lala, while the call was happening, all that stuff. So Lala was there. He was trying to lie to both Lala and Katie and Ariana when they both caught him into it. So at this point, I think Lala's already figured out something's already going on. At that point, I think maybe there's a possibility that Ariana was getting a little suspicious of Sandoval. Had some inkling of doubts about him, basically. But I don't think she could act on it until she saw the phone and all that stuff. But I think someone told her about the phone. But I think what it comes down to this is this part where, as I mentioned, when Lisa Vanderpump knew well ahead, while after the beach outing, that Raquel was at Sandoval's place. Lisa knew. Now, she said she's always maintained she never knew. She told Tom Berenger on What Would Happen Live, like, oh, I didn't know until the day of, basically, when news broke out about that. But Lisa's no fool. Lisa's no idiot. She knew. She chose not to say. So this is one of those things I think Lisa knew, and I think she and Ken knew from this aspect. VPR was kind of losing its appeal, losing its numbers. And if something like this broke out, of Tom Sandoval having an affair with Raquel, it would pump up the ratings to the point where, like, she'd be getting more money for a new season. A new season would be renewed, and she'd be getting more money at that point. Because let's be honest. After season 9, I think the ratings dipped, if I remember correctly. So, like, season 10, first 2 or 3 episodes, I don't think there wasn't much ratings until after the news broke. Did the ratings go back up? And, like, people are now talking about this. So let's not also say that. We're putting a lot of blame on Schwartz and, like, oh, he's your best friend. You're your best friend. How did you not know? The show, that episode of yesterday, basically literally showed Lisa knew or figured out. Lisa had some inkling something went down. Because the fact is, Raquel pretty much admitted it to Lisa. I slept at his house. And Lisa made the call immediately to Tom. Called him immediately. So she knew. She wanted to confront him. Tom pretty much lied to her, and she knew Tom was lying to her. Sandoval was lying to her, and she realized it. And I think she talked with Ken, her husband, decided, okay, let's let this play out. Maybe if he does get caught, or like towards the end of the show, at the end of the show, in the reunion show, um, that Sandoval says, we're breaking up. I'm in love with Raquel. Um, or two, I think by knowing that at that point, and the producers had to have known at this point too, because like the producers were asking here and there, and Tom flat out denying it. But let's not forget, there is definitely a lot of editing being done in this episode. Definitely a lot of editing that was being done in this episode as well as the prior episode. And that's gearing towards the scandal breaking, because you could see some aspects of Lala saying some stuff, then doing the rewind tape, basically rewinding of the tape and going back in history. But it seems like they might have also gone to other episodes, future episodes, talking when they were mentioning about certain things, remembering certain things, and then they rewind back, then they rewind forward, ahead, and then whatever it is. So the editing was pretty interesting. How I think the editors of Bravo for Vanderpump Rules are setting this up so that they can shape the narrative to making Sandoval and Raquel being the villain, of course, which they are, and Ariana being played as the fool, sadly. And now here's the thing. James, with the last two episodes, he was obsessed with Raquel. Even though he says he's moved on, guy gets mad for no apparent reason when Raquel's being mentioned. Why does he lose his temper about that? If he's moved on, he wouldn't have cared. It was like, all right, it's a bad joke, especially the beach outing episode where Schwartz made the apparently inappropriate joke, but more so it was just a bad joke, corny, bad joke. And I don't think it was at the expense, but like sort of a little bit of teasing towards James, and James can't take it. He's got a massive ego, but he can dish it, but he can't take it, especially if it's lighthearted. And the fact that Lala came to his defense made no sense as well too. Honestly, did Schwartz have a right to say that joke? Not entirely, but at the same time, still a little lighthearted at that point, honestly, because he went to Imagine. He was like, all right, well, what about Rochella? I mean, playing off of Coachella, of course, as well too. So I mean, I probably would have done the exact same thing as well too. So James, he has no right anyways to talk about this, because he's already cheated on Rachel anyways with Lala while they were still dating and engaged. So whatever. And then Lala, it's hard to say. I mean, everyone's thinking that she was bullying her. I think she was, and she's coming back. Like, I knew it from the beginning, but yet in the shows, she's like, I want to give her redemption, blah, forgiveness, yada yada yada. And then all of a sudden she comes back to it. It's like, I knew it. I mean, if you knew it, then why were you forgiving her? Why didn't you do whatever? You didn't do anything. So that's pretty much you just standing back, like you just being, like you letting someone being stabbed right in front of you and you doing nothing. That's pretty much what she was doing, practically. So for her to say anything, I'm not taking that with whatever she, I'm taking whatever she says with the sort of grain of salt. Now, the one person I do feel sorry for is Sheena. She was definitely played, as well as Brock. Sheena defended Rachel completely, same as Ariana. Both of them defended Rachel to the best of their abilities, with everything they had, just to defend her. It's like, you guys can hate her, but we'll still be friends with her, etc. We want to mentor her, etc. They were both played. So it made absolute sense for Sheena to, like, whack, if she could have whacked or smacked Rachel or Raquel, whatever you want to call it. Katie, I honestly don't care, honestly. She's nothing in the show. She's pretty much boring in the show, quite honestly. You see it from season 1 all the way on. If not for Schwartz, she's pretty much boring. I mean, if not for Schwartz and Stassi, she pretty much would have been a nobody. She wouldn't have been a regular. Schwartz made her what it was, and basically that's it. And Schwartz is a character. Let's not forget that. But like I said, this is this is an interesting next couple of weeks. I think it's not next week, but the week after, we're going to see the breaking episode. But I think what everyone really wants to see is not the breaking of the news factor, but more of the reunion show. I think everyone wants to see the reunion show. I think everyone's like, all right, fine, we've seen all this stuff. Let's just get to the reunion. We want to see the reunion. Let's see the reunion. I want to see the reunion more than anything else. So I want to say this. Bravo is doing some really well editing with this show now, since the news broke. Schwartz, new. Lisa Vanderpump, new. That's it. That's all I'm saying right there. Lisa Vanderpump, new. So we can't just put the blame only on Schwartz. We have to say Lisa Vanderpump had to have known too. And if everyone's saying no, she couldn't have known, yeah, she did. She figured, well, it's not the fact that she knew that they're having an affair, but she knew that at least they definitely had to have had a one-night stand. That they definitely had to have hooked up at least once. She's not stupid. Lisa Vanderpump is a very, very bright woman. And so is Ken. They both know. Even Ken was surprised when he said it. He said it aloud for the shock factor, to bring it up. Because I don't think Lisa wanted it coming from her. I think they wanted it coming from someone else, and Ken made sure. I think it was planned, probably planned actually, to be honest, that Ken came out and was like, did you know? And like, because why would he say that in front of Lisa if Lisa was the one that told him? So him telling Katie was to like create that drama. Creating that drama adds more ratings to the show. So this is a case where I don't think Lisa knew about the affair entirely, but she definitely knew that they hooked up. And that's why I think she basically was using that hookup as a way to create more drama. I think the fact that it became a fact that the news broke that they were having an affair played into Lisa's hand even better, and played into the Bravo universe better as well too. It's like, whoa, this is garnering more ratings. Actually, I've got to take a look and see what the ratings are for the past couple of weeks and such, versus last year as well too, around this time. But I'll leave it at that. Let me know your comments. Do you think Lisa knew, or do you at least think Lisa definitely knew that they hooked up? Sandoval and Raquel. Do you agree with my thoughts and opinions about each of the individuals and their their personas of, like, and their opinions of whatever they're talking about with this whole thing? I mean, Ariana is the biggest victim here, unfortunately, but I think she was played a fool too. And unfortunately, I think the signs were there, but she was too trusting. She even said, like, basically, Tom is my stan. I'm Tom's stan, but he's not hers. Now, for those that don't know what a stan is, of course, it's basically referring to just like in an Eminem song. Stan is basically sort of a person that stalks the individual, but not stalks, but more obsessed with the celebrity. And Sheena, of course, she was played considerably at this point as well. She was definitely played, and the fact is, like, Sheena and Ariana are best friends. So now the question is, what happens here? Will Ariana sleep with Schwartz? No. I think we're hearing stories about, like, the fact is, I haven't been following the news as much since, about Ariana having a new guy. More power to him. The question is like, now what happens to the next season? Who are going to be in the cast? Who in the cast is going to be in there? Will Sandoval be there? I think he will. Will Raquel be there? It's going to be kind of hard to say. And let's not forget, Raquel basically went after James to be on the show. Question is Amy like that as well too? Did she go after James to get on the show? It's hard to say. This girl is a very, very bright girl. She knows what's going on. She's a bright individual, it seems like. I don't know. But at least she's not Raquel, saying all these dumb idioms or dumb sayings, basically. But outside of that, like I said, I'll leave it at that. Again, let me know your thoughts, comments. I do read I do read all my comments. I do respond to them when they warrant a response. Also, if you do enjoy my videos as well as my channel, and if you enjoy this video, I ask you, and if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And if you like this video, as I said, please like it. If you don't like it, you're welcome to dislike it as well, too, honestly. I'm not going to leave it here and there for that. It's up to you, basically. But with that, I'll leave it at that. Unfiltered, unedited, and unrehearsed. Until next time.